Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER 1 News. I'm Sarah Brewer reporting news from around the Columbia Basin for Wednesday, October 2nd. Tonight, we report on how Nathan Brooks allegedly attacked an inmate and how the dredge is doing in removing dirt from Moses Lake. In sports, Bob Kirkpatrick reports on Ephrata Tigers volleyball and Moses Lake soccer success. Our spotlight story tonight is about how a new home is being built in Moses Lake by the Habitat for Humanity. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. Our top story tonight, a Moses Lake teen accused of trying to kill his parents reportedly assaulted an inmate at the Grant County Juvenile Detention Center on June 17th. 14-year-old Nathan Brooks is waiting to see if he will be charged as an adult for the 2 counts of attempted murder in the first degree. He's being held at the Grant County Juvenile Detention Center on a $500,000 bail. Prosecutors recently released information about an alleged assault that was made public during a hearing. It was part of a response opposing his defense attorney's motion to allow Brooks to appear in the courtroom without handcuffs and shackles. The victim reported Brooks punched him in the eye. A staff member reported seeing a commotion between Brooks and the victim. When the victim fell to the ground, Brooks allegedly walked to a chair, sat down, and began watching television. Brooks reportedly told a staff member he didn't remember the incident, saying, "When I get angry, I hallucinate. I was not even aware I hit him." He declined to say anything else without speaking to his attorney. His case is stalled as the defense attorney is waiting for a psychological evaluation to be completed before a judge determines if he's to be tried as an adult or as a juvenile. To read more on the story, visit us online at ifiber1.com/news. The Moses Lake Irrigation and Rehabilitation District gave tours to explain the process of dredging project in Moses Lake. Here with the story is Jeff Chu.
The dredging operation on Moses Lake's reaches north of Nepal Crossing at Stratford Road has produced a big hill of sediment pumped from the lake. Moses Lake Irrigation and Rehabilitation District staffers have been using the dredge boat, fondly named Sulky by an elementary school class, to dig and siphon silt accumulating at the lake's bottom. The silt includes volcanic ash from the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption, District Manager Kurt Carpenter said. Carpenter recently showed officials work progress aboard Sulky.
The dredging's necessary for several reasons. One is we have to maintain a large enough reservoir for runoff waters and flood conditions for safety of structures and public. The other is just the water quality. There's a lot of nutrients in this material. It's also covered up between the ash, St. Helens, material coming down. The bottom of the lake is created in rock cobbles and whatnot, which provides habitat for fish and invertebrates and whatnot.
Those attending the project tour included Moses Lake Mayor Bill Acrett and Grant County Commissioner Carol Ann Schwartz. Sediment has been degrading water quality in Moses Lake. Irrigation water is mainly to blame, according to Carpenter. Excess sediment flows into the lake are estimated at 50,000 cubic yards a year.
So we're kind of doing the big picture thing, providing for the ecology as well as human use of clean water.
District dredge operator Chris Wilson, who learned to operate the dredge machine by trial and error, explained how the operation works.
Basically, it's a 10-inch suction dredge. It has a ladder out front, a pump inside the little house here, and pipeline that runs up to shore. It acts just like a vacuum. All it does is basically just suck the mud mixed with water up to shore. I got a header out there that's got teeth on it and mixes the mud and water together as it's cutting the mud, and it makes it into a slurry. Basically, that's what we have done so far, from here up to here. That's this year.
The dredge material is pumped through a 10-inch line to a settling pond on shore, where it dries and then is moved to the big pile. The district is still looking into what to do with the dried silt piling up fast. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
Thanks, Jeff. A 49-year-old woman died after being struck by a vehicle after getting out of her car to talk about a rear-end collision. Maria Farias was driving her 1996 Honda Accord south on State Route 17, about 2 miles south of Warden around 11:30 p.m. last night, when she reportedly hit a 1997 Honda Accord waiting for a vehicle to make a left turn. After Farias got out of her car, Juan Labra, an 18-year-old man from Othello, allegedly hit her and her car with his 2000 Volkswagen Golf. Farias died at the scene, according to the Washington State Patrol. Labra and the other driver of the 1997 Honda Accord, Leonardo Zavala Ortiz, a 43-year-old man from Othello, were not injured. The cause of the collision is still under investigation, and any charges depend on the outcome. Each of the people you see here has warrants for their arrest and is wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the DOC asks that you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day, or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We'll be back after these messages with the latest from our iFIBER 1 Weather Center, sports, and more news.